Hi. It's early where I am, and my kids have just finished up breakfast, so hopefully it doesn't get short by small children coming in and asking me what I'm doing. But today I wanted to talk about the difficulty of letting people in. Um, something I don't know how many people don't struggle with that because it's always been normal to me to struggle, but I've always assumed that there's other people who are just so cool and that they handle that just fine. Um, but I've noticed that I am happier once I am able to get past those different hangups. And of course, you are going to be happier if you have more human interaction and positive human interaction because oftentimes plenty of us when we're going through our thing, we're still working and we are surrounded by people, but you're miserable. Um, so it can be really hard, and something I still struggle with so much is finding who is the right person to, or the right people to let in, to open up to. And there's always that paranoia or that fear that they have some kind of ulterior motive, that they are going to maybe stab you in the back and tell your secrets to the world or to people who will make fun of you, and in some way just try to tear you down because your misery would be amusing. I don't know. Or they feel like the world should know your your problems. Um, and it's funny because no matter how genuine the person, no matter how safe it should be, I still have that feeling that, and just like that strong nagging that something bad is going to happen and it's all going to come crashing down on me because I I tried to be a friend, or I tried to open up and have that vulnerability. Um, so what do you do? I don't know. um, One thing that does help is to walk through, all right, well, how have they behaved thus far? And so weighing the evidence so many times, just having to weigh the evidence of, okay, well, if they've always been kind and they don't act negatively to what you say, well, then odds are that they don't think that it's something so terrible, or that they themselves have something like that. And something I've come across a couple times is that me just putting it out there and um, telling a new acquaintance or friend, just kind of laying out, okay, yeah, not perfect. I kind of struggle with this or that. Not going as far as the mental health stuff so quickly, um, because particularly where I am, not a lot of people do know about BPD, and if I said mental illness, that would still be scary. So, so where I live, I don't feel like that's the right thing to do, which is okay because I even have that a little bit where at first when I would hear mental illness, I'm like, oh my gosh. And even when you're finding out that I did, it was like, oh, the world came crashing down. This is the worst thing. I'm crazy. And not realizing just how complex things are, and that there can be so many great things about it. But anyways, so when I've been very vulnerable with some people, like a lady that I had gotten to know a little bit better over the summer, um, it was very welcomed. She she was surprised and she really enjoyed the humanity of it. So it can be good to take that chance. But at the same time, I'm like, oh gosh, she's gonna tell her dad, who is the father of my coworker, and he's a bit of a busybody. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna end up seeming like a monster, perhaps in my town, and I live in a very small town, so that would be very easy to do. Not that I should care, but we all do. So something that I've been trying to challenge myself on, and I think it's good for anybody who does feel trapped in that fear of who can I trust and how can I trust, is doing tiny little bits of being vulnerable. So if, say, a coworker has sported a new haircut and that's abnormal for them, or you just like it, challenge yourself to take that tiny little step of saying, hey, that's a nice haircut. And even giving a compliment has always been hard for me. Really struggle with it because it's like, oh, I don't want to put myself out there too much. What will they think? And then in that way, I've always come across as being extremely cold in person because I'm so uncomfortable that I make other people uncomfortable. And like that get together I went to, a month ago? I normally would not comment on a person's house, but I said, oh, you have a lovely home. That meant a whole lot to her and made her feel more at ease, because then she didn't feel like I was judging her home, that I was able to appreciate the time that I was there. So it has turned out to be a good thing, that taking those little steps, those tiny little things, to where it makes me really uncomfortable because I'm afraid that then it's awkward to give a compliment, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, and I don't think other people think too much of it, but it's very hard, and it can open up a whole new world, which is interesting because the different people, those of us who have BPD or depression or anxiety or OCD, we get so trapped up in our own little hell that we don't let any rays of light through so that other people can reach out. We're just building walls around ourselves, and yet feeling so sad. So I have noticed that a compliment is a very small way to take one brick down. Something else I've been trying to do a little bit more is I want to do nice things for my neighbors. I have some old people in town. One man, he lost his wife about 1.5 years ago, and I really want to drop by with a pie or something like that. And I've been thinking on it for the whole summer, but I have not done it, which I feel bad for, because so many times I think about, oh, you know what? I would like to do this. Oh, it'd be great to do that. We have an invalid, and she is just in such bad health. And her husband had hip surgery, so she can't get out to the library, but she loves reading books. And I even had checked out some books to bring to her, but I never got to that point of just knocking on her door and bringing her some books. And I need to do that because people matter so much. And it makes my life worth living if I interact if I give, because that's what makes life worth living.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, Happy. Anyway, I've got a little person here that probably needs mommy. So that is what I had to say about letting people in and trying to make those little challenges. Thank you, and have a good weekend.